boys and girls, and welcome back to another week of art. This week we are creating a field of poppies, and they're going to be really big as they're close to the front, and then they're going to start getting smaller and smaller and smaller as they go towards the distance. So we want to make a bright, beautiful sky for our poppies, and then lots and lots of poppies big in the front, medium size, and then small, teeny tiny, because we're thinking about perspective and foreground, midground, and background. So we're going to start by taking our piece of paper and we're going to fold our paper in half. And that way we know which part is the top and which part is the bottom. And so we can draw a line down the center if we want to, but we don't have to, because we can just kind of see where that crease is to know that this top part is for the sky and the bottom part is for the poppies. So we're going to take our brush and we're going to paint in the whole top section, just the top, using some bright colors. We can do some blue, some orange, some purple, some yellow. We want to make it really bright, really beautiful in our sky. So we're going to paint just the top till we reach that creased line right down the center of our paper. Now that we've created our sky, we're going to start creating our poppies that are going to go from large to small. So I'm going to use some red paint, and I am going to paint some big flowers using my red paint. I'm making these big teardrop shapes, and I might even want them bigger than I just made. Large petals that go all the way around, and the bigger you can make them in the front, the better. Maybe they're going off the page, painting the whole thing in nice and neatly. Try not to leave any white spaces behind. You can see that there's some white spaces in this one. Big, 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 nice big poppies. Okay, one more big poppy in the front. Trying to curve that around. Next, we're going to work on our midground. So these are smaller, but they're not too small. Because they're just in the midground. Now poppies, they kind of have this beautiful kind of wavy shape to them, so they don't have to be perfect all the way around. They can just be kind of free-form shapes for your poppies. Right, now that I have my midground, I need to think about the background with tiny little poppies going in the distance. And right now we have a lot of white spaces, so we're going to fill those in with some medium-sized poppies and some smaller poppies. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to make sure that we fill in our field to make all these poppies in this beautiful big field. As you can see, I have my foreground poppies that are nice and big, my mid-ground poppies that are kind of big and then getting smaller and smaller as we get closer into the distance. I even just made some little dots to show that they're even going farther into the distance, and they're really teeny tiny. So this big field of poppies. We can also add some yellow flowers in our field, and we want to do this before we add the grass that's in our field. So we can add some little yellow flowers that go between the poppies, and they also get smaller and smaller as they go into the distance. So it's up to you where you place these within the field of poppies, but they're just these little yellow dots that are amongst the poppies in our beautiful field of poppies. Now we're going to add our green stems for our poppies, and it's going to be complementary colors, which are colors that complement each other and make each other stand out. So it's going to look really pretty in our field with the red and the green combined together, or next to each other really. And we want to put these green stems all over. It's not just the stems, it's also the grass that's growing in the field as well. So we're going to cover the whole field with these little green lines all over our paper. Once we have our green grass and it's filled up our entire ground to create this beautiful field of poppies, we're going to take our black paint, and we want to make sure that the inside of our poppies are dry so that when we draw the center, it doesn't blend in with the red. So we're going to take our black and we're going to draw a circle in the center of each poppy, nice and big, especially in the front, so that we can have the center of our poppies. So I added the black circle to the center, and it really makes the poppies come to life and makes that iconic look for poppies. But once they're really small, like when they get really far away, I didn't add anything because in the distance you're not going to see all the details. You see more details as you get up close to them, which is our foreground, where we're close up to those poppies. But then we lose a lot of the details when it gets really far away in the distance. So we don't have to worry about putting little black circles on all of our poppies. We just want to make sure that if it's close up, it has lots of details. In the middle ground, it has a medium amount of details, some details, not a lot of details, and then the background, it has like 0 details, just a little bit of that black middle in some of them, and then really far away, not even that. Because it's too far away, we can't see all those little details. So you can see that I've created the black circles in the center, and we're going to wait for that to dry so that we can do one more detail. For our final detail for our poppies, we're going to use a white crayon and add the little tiny seeds, especially to our poppies that are really close to us, so that you can see those details. Because if it's close up, you're going to see a lot more details than if it's farther away and in the distance. So we are creating perspective using foreground, midground, and background. I hope that you enjoy working on this project and creating your beautiful field of poppies using paint and a white crayon. Make sure that you add flowers that are really big to your foreground, flowers that are medium sized to your midground, and flowers that are teeny tiny to the background to make it look like you are in the field and it is going really far into the distance, and the poppies fill the entire view for what you can see for miles and miles and miles. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.